My dad walked my ex-fiancée down the aisle at her wedding to my younger brother because her father couldn't make it. My father couldn't make his mortgage payment either after I stopped paying it. He had to sell the house. Karma's real. Alright, Reddit, strap in, because this story is absolutely insane. I'm still processing everything that happened, and honestly, writing it all out might be the only therapy I can afford after the financial bloodletting I'm about to describe. This all unfolded over about 2 years, but the nuclear explosion happened 6 months ago. Here's how my family completely imploded, and how I made damn sure everyone involved paid for what they did. I'm Derrick, 34, male, and I work as a senior data analyst for a major tech company in Seattle. I make good money, around $180,000 base, plus stock options that vest every year. I'm not Elon Musk rich, but I'm comfortable. I own my condo outright, drive a Tesla Model 3, and have a healthy investment portfolio. I worked my ass off to get here. I grew up lower middle class in a suburb outside Tacoma. Went to the University of Washington on a partial scholarship. Worked 2 jobs through college. Graduated with honors in computer science. Nothing was ever handed to me. My younger brother, Derrick, is 29. Total opposite of me in every way that matters. He dropped out of community college after 1 semester. Bounced between retail jobs and food service for years. Now he's an assistant manager at a sporting goods store, making maybe $45,000 a year, if he's lucky. Nice guy when he wants to be, but he's always been the golden child in my parents' eyes. Mostly because he stayed close to home while I abandoned the family by moving to Seattle for better opportunities. The family dynamic was always weird. Dad, Richard, is 62, retired from Boeing after 35 years as a machinist. Mom, Linda, is 59 and works part-time at a salon, doing nails and giving basic manicures to regulars she's known for decades. They still live in the same house I grew up in, a modest 3-bedroom ranch in Puyallup that they bought back in 1992 for $87,000. But here's the thing they don't tell anyone outside the family. I've been paying their mortgage for the last 8 years. Let me explain before you think I'm some kind of saint. When I was 26 and finally making decent money after a promotion, Dad had a health scare. He needed triple bypass surgery. Insurance covered most of it, but the deductibles and out-of-pocket costs completely wiped out their savings. They were going to lose the house. Mom was crying on the phone every night. Dad was too proud to ask for help directly, but I could hear the desperation in their voices during our weekly calls. So I stepped in. I took over the mortgage payments, $1,847 every month, for 8 years straight. That's $177,312 total, for those keeping score at home. I never asked for anything in return, never lorded it over them, never mentioned it at family gatherings, or made them feel like they owed me anything beyond the basic gratitude any parent should feel. It was just something I did because they were my parents, and I could afford it. They'd tell people they figured things out or refinanced at a better rate, but they never mentioned that their oldest son was keeping a roof over their heads while they spent their retirement money on cruises and new furniture. Derrick knew, of course. Dad had told him years ago, probably trying to make him feel guilty for not contributing anything to the household, even though he lived there rent-free for 3 years after dropping out. Derrick's response? Derrick makes bank. He can afford it. He never once offered to chip in. Not $20. Not when he was living there eating their food. Not when he finally got his own place. Not ever. But whatever. I wasn't doing it for recognition or to make my brother feel bad about his life choices. Now let me introduce you to Sophia, 31, female, my ex-fiancée. I met her 4 years ago at a friend's wedding in Bellevue. She was a bridesmaid. I was a groomsman. We hit it off immediately during the rehearsal dinner. Sophia worked as an executive assistant at a prominent law firm in downtown Seattle. Made decent money, around $75,000, with good benefits. Smart, gorgeous, funny. She had this laugh that could light up a room and make everyone around her smile. Latina, long dark hair that cascaded down her back, curves in all the right places, and this way of making you feel like you were the only person in the world when she looked at you. I was smitten from day one. We dated for 2 years before I proposed. I took her to the San Juan Islands, rented a private cabin overlooking the water, and made dinner myself. Pan-seared salmon with roasted vegetables and a wine reduction. Because I knew she'd see through some fancy restaurant crap and appreciate the personal effort more. I proposed on the beach at sunset with my grandmother's ring that I'd had resized and cleaned professionally. She cried, said yes immediately, and posted it on Instagram within 5 minutes with the caption, "I said yes to my forever." It got 847 likes in the first hour. That should have been my first red flag, the need for immediate social media validation, but I was too happy to care about anything except the fact that this incredible woman had agreed to marry me. The engagement period was great at first. We started planning the wedding, looking at venues around Seattle, and talking about our future in detail. She wanted kids eventually. So did I. We were going to buy a house together, maybe somewhere on the east side near Redmond or Kirkland. Good schools, white picket fence, the whole suburban dream. I was all in, ready to build a life with the woman I'd completely fallen in love with. But then she started spending more time with my family. Way more time than seemed normal for someone who'd grown up in Seattle and had her own family nearby. We'd visit my parents maybe twice a month, but she'd always want to stay longer. "Your parents are so sweet," she'd say. "Your mom and I had such a great talk about the wedding flowers." Then it became phone calls with my mom about wedding details. Then it was her stopping by their house when she was in the area, even though Puyallup was 45 minutes away from our place in Seattle, and there was literally no reason for her to be down there. I thought it was nice that she was getting close with my family. My ex before her, a girl I dated for 3 years in my mid-20s, barely tolerated my parents. She'd always make excuses to skip family dinners or leave early. Sophia seemed genuinely interested in being part of the family. She'd ask my mom for recipes, help my dad with yard work when we visited, bring little gifts for no reason. My mom loved her. She kept saying I'd finally found the right one, that Sophia was perfect daughter-in-law material. Dad approved too, because she was traditional and wanted to be a mother someday. Even Derrick seemed to like her, which was unusual, because he typically hated anyone I dated, probably out of jealousy. Actually, looking back now with clear eyes, Derrick seemed to like her a lot. At every family dinner, he'd sit next to her instead of across the table like he usually did. They'd laugh at inside jokes I wasn't part of, referencing conversations they'd had when I wasn't around. She'd compliment his CrossFit transformation. He'd recently gotten really into fitness and wouldn't shut up about his macros and workout routines. He'd show her videos on his phone, their heads close together, giggling like teenagers. They'd go outside to get some air during gatherings, sometimes for 15 or 20 minutes at a time. The red flags were there, bright, obvious, waving in my face. I just didn't want to see them. When you trust someone completely, you give them the benefit of the doubt. You tell yourself you're being paranoid or insecure. You convince yourself that your fiancé getting along great with your brother is a good thing, not a warning sign that something inappropriate might be happening. You rationalize every weird moment because the alternative, that they might actually be betraying you, is too painful to even consider. The unraveling started about a year into our engagement. Sophia started pulling away from me, physically and emotionally, in ways that were subtle at first, but became more and more obvious. Sex went from regular and passionate, to occasional, to rare, to practically non-existent. She'd stay late at work more often, claiming the law firm was understaffed, and she was covering for someone on maternity leave. She got secretive about her phone, changed her passcode without mentioning it, always kept it face down on tables, and would leave the room to take calls, even from her mom. Classic cheating signs that I stupidly rationalized as wedding stress and work pressure. Then came the business trip that changed everything. Her firm was sending her to a legal conference in Phoenix for 4 days in early March. I offered to come along, make it a couple's vacation, explore Arizona together. But she insisted it was all work and that I'd be bored sitting around a hotel while she was in sessions all day. Fine. I trusted her completely. She left on a Thursday morning, kissed me goodbye, and promised to text me updates about all the boring conference sessions. Friday night around 8 p.m. I got a text from my buddy Jake, who lives in Puyallup and works as a contractor. Dude, is Sophia supposed to be in Phoenix? Because I just saw her car parked outside your parents' house. Distinctive BMW. He recognized the license plate. My blood went cold. My heart started racing. I tried calling her immediately, straight to voicemail. Then I texted her, asking how the conference is going. No response for hours. Finally, around 11 p.m., she replied, "Sorry, conference is exhausting and the sessions ran late. Going to bed early. Miss you so much." It was accompanied by a selfie in a generic hotel room that could have been taken anywhere, anytime. No identifying details visible. I couldn't sleep. Spent the whole night staring at the ceiling, my mind racing through every possible explanation. Maybe Jake was wrong. Maybe it was a similar car. Maybe she'd come back early for some reason. But the pit in my stomach told me the truth I didn't want to accept. Saturday morning at 7 a.m. I did something I'm not proud of. I drove to my parents' house unannounced. It was about an hour's drive from Seattle, and I spent the entire time hoping I was wrong, hoping there was some innocent explanation. It was 8 a.m. when I arrived. Sophia's BMW was still parked in the driveway next to Derrick's truck. I used my key to let myself in quietly. The house was silent, morning light filtering through the windows. I could hear faint sounds from upstairs. I went up the stairs slowly, each step feeling like walking to my own execution. I heard noises coming from Derrick's old room, the room he'd grown up in, the same room I'd slept in as a teenager when visiting home. I opened the door without knocking. There they were, my fiancée and my brother, in the bed I'd slept in during high school visits, under the same Star Wars posters Derrick still had on the walls. They scrambled to cover themselves, shock and horror written all over their faces. But the damage was done. The image was burned into my brain forever. I stood there for what felt like hours, but was probably 30 seconds. Didn't say a word. Couldn't find words adequate for what I was feeling. I just turned around, walked downstairs calmly, and left through the front door. I sat in my car in their driveway for 10 minutes, completely numb. My hands were shaking. My vision was blurry. My entire world had just collapsed, and I couldn't process it. Then my phone started blowing up. "Sophia, oh my God. Derrick, please let me explain. This isn't what it looks like." Derrick, bro, wait. I can explain. We need to talk. My mom, "Derrick, please come back inside. Let's talk about this as a family." I didn't respond to any of them. Put my phone on silent. Drove home in a daze, grateful for muscle memory, because I honestly don't remember the drive. I walked into my condo and started packing all of Sophia's stuff. She'd been slowly moving things in over the past year. So I stuffed everything into garbage bags. Every dress, every pair of shoes, every toiletry, every book she'd left on my shelves. Then I called her father, told him coldly to come pick up his daughter's belongings from my front porch within 2 hours, or they'd go to Goodwill. He tried to argue. I hung up on him mid-sentence. Then I blocked Sophia on everything: phone, text, Instagram, Facebook, email. After that, I took off my grandmother's ring. The one I'd given Sophia, the ring that had been in my family for 3 generations. I put it carefully in a box with tissue paper and mailed it back to myself at my office with a note, evidence of breach of contract, and the date. Yeah, I was already thinking legally, already protecting myself, already planning ahead, even through the shock. Sophia's dad came by with a truck around 2 p.m. Didn't say a word to me when I opened the door. I pointed to the bags. He loaded them up silently and left. I watched from my window, drinking bourbon at 2 p.m. on a Saturday, feeling absolutely nothing. Then my phone wouldn't stop. Calls from my mom, my dad, Derrick, Sophia, her friends, mutual friends who'd heard something had happened. I ignored everything. Finally, around 6 p.m., I sent one group text to my parents and Derrick. I saw what I saw. It's over with Sophia. It's over with this family. Don't contact me again. Monday, I was back at work like nothing had happened. Told my close work friend's engagement was off. No details provided, and they respected my privacy. The hard part wasn't the breakup with Sophia. I accepted that immediately, ripped off the Band-Aid, and felt nothing but disgust. The hard part was realizing my entire family had betrayed me in the worst possible way. Because here's what I found out later, through various sources. It had been going on for 6 months. 6 months. They'd been hooking up whenever I wasn't around. Sometimes in my parents' house. Sometimes in Derrick's apartment across town. Sometimes in hotel rooms they'd book for their afternoon meetings. My parents knew about it. My mom had actually caught them once, making out in the laundry room. Derrick begged her not to tell me, because he was in love, and she's the one, and we can't help how we feel. Dad found out a month later, when he came home early from a fishing trip and found them on the living room couch. Neither of them said a word to me. They let me keep paying their mortgage while harboring and facilitating my brother's affair with my fiancée. They let me plan a wedding, put down deposits totaling thousands of dollars, get excited about my future with Sophia, send out save the dates, book a honeymoon, all while knowing it was built on lies and betrayal. They chose to protect Derrick and Sophia's relationship over protecting me from being hurt. The first time one of them tried to defend it to my face was 3 weeks after Discovery Day. Mom finally got through to me by calling from a number I didn't recognize, probably borrowed a friend's phone. Derrick, honey, please, just hear me out. No. Derrick and Sophia love each other. It just happened. No one meant to hurt you. These things happen sometimes. They had 6 months to tell me. You had 6 months. Dad had 6 months. Everyone chose to lie to me for half a year. Get F*** ed mom. I hung up. She tried calling back immediately. I blocked that number too. But the calls kept coming, from different numbers. My parents had a lot of friends, apparently willing to lend their phones. Dad left voicemails about how I was throwing away family over a woman and being dramatic about something that happens all the time. Derrick left tearful messages about how he never meant for it to happen, but you can't help who you fall in love with, and I hope someday you'll understand. Sophia sent long emails about how she always cared about me, but found something deeper with Derrick and hoped I could find it in my heart to forgive them so we can all move forward as a family. The entitlement was absolutely astonishing. The complete lack of accountability or genuine remorse. The expectation that I would just accept this catastrophic betrayal and move on like nothing significant had happened, like they'd just forgotten to invite me to dinner, not destroyed my entire life and future. I didn't respond to any of it. Instead, I did something that would have long-term consequences. I kept paying the mortgage for 3 more months. Kept everything normal and automatic. Let them think maybe there was hope for reconciliation, that I was just processing my feelings and would eventually come around. Then I got the wedding invitation in June. It showed up at my office. They'd figured out my work address somehow, probably from my LinkedIn profile. Cream-colored cardstock with elegant script. Expensive quality paper. Clearly no expense spared. Derrick Thompson and Sophia Rodriguez request the honor of your presence at their marriage. 6 months after I caught them, they were getting married. The wedding was set for October 12th at a winery in Woodinville that I recognized immediately. Sophia and I had looked at that exact venue for our wedding. We decided it was too expensive, $15,000 just for the venue rental alone. But apparently, cost wasn't an issue when you weren't the one paying for it. And then came the detail that made my blood boil, the one that made me see red, that crystallized exactly what needed to happen next. Sophia will be escorted down the aisle by Richard Thompson, who graciously agreed to step in after her father's health prevented him from attending. Her father was fine, perfectly healthy. I checked his Facebook. The man was posting about golf games, barbecues, and a recent fishing trip to Alaska. This was just another slap in the face, another deliberate humiliation, another twist of the knife. My dad walking my ex-fiancée down the aisle to marry my brother. The symbolism was too perfect, too calculated. They weren't just betraying me. They were rubbing my face in it, making sure I knew exactly how little I mattered to them. That's when I made my decision. I was done being the good son. Done being the family ATM. Done letting them use my generosity to fund their lives while they destroyed mine without consequences. So I called my bank and set up an appointment with my financial advisor. I had one simple question. If I stop paying someone else's mortgage, what happens? The answer was exactly what I expected. They'd have 90 days before foreclosure proceedings started, assuming they couldn't make the payments themselves. They'd get notices, warnings, chances to catch up. But if they had no savings and couldn't afford it, they'd lose the house. It would go to auction. Everything they'd built would be gone. I did the math carefully. Dad's Boeing pension? Maybe $3,200 a month after taxes. Mom's part-time salon work brought in another $1,500 on a good month. Total household income, about $4,700. The mortgage payment I'd been covering was $1,847. But that wasn't their only expense. Property taxes, utilities, car payments, insurance, food, medical costs, easily another $2,500 every month. That left them maybe $350 of discretionary income, if they were careful and lucky. They couldn't afford the house without me. Not even close. Not even if they cut every luxury and lived like paupers. The numbers just didn't work. So I pulled up a detailed spreadsheet and calculated everything I'd paid over 8 years. $177,312 in mortgage payments alone, plus $8,500 in property taxes when they couldn't afford them. Helped replace their roof 3 years ago, $12,000. Bought Dad a used truck when his died, $15,000. Paid for Mom's dental work not covered by insurance, $6,800. Christmas gifts, birthdays, groceries, when money was tight, dinners out I always paid for. Total, $224,612. Money I never asked to get back. Never threw in their faces. Never made them feel guilty for. And they repaid me by hiding my brother's affair with my fiancée for 6 months and expecting me to accept their marriage like it was nothing. My own father literally walking her down the aisle. Screw that. Screw all of it. I logged into my bank account and changed the automatic payment I'd been making for 8 years. Instead of going to their mortgage company, it would now go into a private savings account I just created. They wouldn't know until the bank sent them a notice saying a payment was missed. I set the change to take effect September 1st. The wedding was October 12th. Perfect timing. Then I waited and watched. September 15th. My dad called from yet another new number. I let it go to voicemail. Derrick, son, we need to talk. The mortgage company says we missed a payment. There must be some kind of mistake with your bank, maybe a technical glitch or something. Can you call them and get this sorted out? Thanks, son. Love you. The casual assumption that it was just a mistake. The total certainty that I was still their dutiful son who'd fix everything. The audacity of ending with love you after what they'd done. I deleted the voicemail without a second thought. September 20th. Mom texted from a number I hadn't blocked yet. Derrick, please call us about the mortgage. This isn't funny anymore. We got a second notice from the bank. Please respond. I replied with one word, no. Then I blocked that number too. September 30th. I got a text from Derrick's phone. Dude, seriously? You're gonna let Mom and Dad lose their house over this? Be a man and put your feelings aside. They're your parents. Family is family. My reply, be a man and pay your own family's bills. Or better yet, ask your fiancée to help since she loves being part of the family so much. Oh wait, she makes $75,000. And you make $45,000 combined. That's not even enough to cover the mortgage I was paying, much less everything else. Guess you should have thought about that before screwing her in my parent house while I was paying to keep a roof over your heads. Then I blocked him too and felt absolutely zero guilt. October arrived. The wedding was set for October 12th at 4 p.m. Obviously, I wasn't going. Wouldn't have gone if they paid me. But I had friends back in Puyallup who kept me updated. Small town mentality. Word travels fast. Plenty of people I'd grown up with were disgusted by what my family had done. October 3rd, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Against my better judgment, I answered. Derrick. It was Sophia's voice. I almost hung up immediately, but curiosity got the better of me. I wanted to hear what she could possibly have to say. What? I know you're still upset. Upset? That's the word you're going with? Upset? I know this is hard for you, Derrick, but Derrick, and I really hope you can find it in your heart to come to the wedding. You're his brother. Family is everything. We want you there to support us. I actually laughed out loud. Couldn't help it. Family is everything? That's rich, Sophia. Really rich. Derrick, what we did was wrong. We know that. We're not denying it, but we're in love. Real, genuine love. Something I never actually felt with you, if I'm being totally honest. And there it was. The truth behind everything. Not that it was a mistake or something that just happened. She'd never loved me. I was convenient. Safe. A placeholder. Thanks for the honesty, I said flatly. Now, let me be honest with you. I will never attend your wedding. I will never forgive you. I will never speak to my brother again, or my parents for that matter. And I hope every single day of your marriage you remember that you built it on lies and destroyed someone who genuinely loved you. I hope it haunts you at night. I hope Derrick wonders if you'll do to him what you did to me when someone better comes along. I hope you both lie awake knowing you're terrible people who deserve each other. She started crying. That's so cruel, Derrick. You know what's cruel, Sophia? Screwing your fiancé's brother while planning a wedding. You know what's cruel? Letting someone plan a future with you while you betray them every week. You know what's cruel? Inviting that same person to watch you marry the man you cheated with, and having his father walk you down the aisle. But sure, I'm the cruel one for stating facts. Have a wonderful wedding. I hope you, Derrick, and my parents enjoy yourselves while my dad walks you down that aisle. I hope the photos are beautiful. I hope you remember them forever. Then I hung up, blocked the number, and for the first time in months, I felt amazing. Powerful. October 10th. 2 days before the wedding, I got an email from my dad. He'd somehow found my work email. Derrick, I understand you're hurt and angry, but you need to know the bank is threatening foreclosure proceedings. We missed 3 payments in a row. We're trying to work with them, but they want everything caught up, plus late fees. That's over $6,000 we don't have. Your mother is beside herself. I know you don't want to talk to us right now, but we desperately need your help. I'm asking you, father to son, man to man. Please, we'll lose the house. I read it. I read it 3 times. Felt absolutely nothing. No sympathy. No guilt. No regret. Then I replied, Dad, I'm not going to help. You chose to support Derrick's relationship with my fiancée for 6 months without telling me. You chose to let me keep paying your bills while you betrayed me. You chose to walk Sophia down the aisle instead of standing up for your son, the one who's been taking care of you financially for 8 years. These are all choices, and choices come with consequences. The consequence is you lose the house you couldn't afford without me anyway. You should have thought about that before facilitating the betrayal. And for the record, I was asking you, father to son, for basic loyalty and honesty a year ago. You failed spectacularly. So now, you'll get exactly the same from me. Nothing. Enjoy the wedding. I hope it's worth losing your home over. I hit send and felt a massive weight lift off my shoulders. The wedding happened on schedule. I didn't go, obviously. Wouldn't have attended if my life depended on it. But my friend Kate did. She'd been friends with Derrick growing up and got an invite she couldn't gracefully decline. She took photos for me discreetly, which might sound petty, but I wanted documentation of everything. The venue looked beautiful in the photos. Autumn leaves, vineyard views, sunset lighting. Sophia wore a white dress that probably cost at least $3,000. Derrick wore a suit that definitely came from Men's Warehouse. My mom looked happy in the photos Kate sent, dabbing at her eyes during the ceremony. My dad looked stressed and uncomfortable, probably because he knew they were about to lose their house, but couldn't admit it to anyone. And yes, Dad walked Sophia down the aisle. Kate sent me that specific photo. Sophia beaming with joy, holding Dad's arm in her white dress, veil flowing behind her. Dad looking awkward, but trying to smile. Derrick at the altar, looking like he'd won the lottery. Like he couldn't believe his luck. Then came the caption on Sophia's Instagram post. When your father-in-law steps up to give you away because your own father couldn't be there, you know you've married into the right family. Thank you, Richard, for making this day so special. Blessed. Archer family is everything. 260 comments. All congratulating her. All calling it beautiful. No one mentioned me. It was like I'd never existed in their lives. Like I'd been erased from the narrative completely. I saved the photo and sent it to my lawyer with a note. Documentation of family relationships for any future legal matters that may arise. She replied, smart thinking. Keep documenting everything. You never know what you might need. November came fast. I got a letter forwarded from my condo management. Someone had sent it to my old address, and they'd passed it along. It was from my mom, handwritten on floral stationery. Derrick, I don't even know what to say to you anymore. The bank filed official foreclosure last week. We have 60 days to get out of our home. Your father and I have lived in this house for 30 years. You were born when we lived here. Derrick grew up here. All our memories are in these walls. And you're really going to let us lose it over something that doesn't even involve you anymore? Sophia and Derrick are married now. That's done. You need to move on with your life. We're your parents. We raised you, fed you, clothed you, put a roof over your head for 18 years. Doesn't that count for something? Your father is devastated. He won't eat. I cry every night. Derrick says we can live with him and Sophia, but their apartment is tiny, and I can't imagine losing our home after 3 decades. Please, Derrick, I'm begging you as your mother. Help us one more time. I read it once carefully. Then I put it in a folder labeled Family Correspondence. Didn't respond. Didn't feel anything, except maybe a slight sense of satisfaction that consequences were finally happening. The holidays were weird that year. My first Thanksgiving and Christmas without family in my entire life. I'd never missed a family holiday before. Instead of the usual dysfunction in Puyallup, I went to Cabo with 3 friends from work. We stayed at an all-inclusive resort, drank too many margaritas, got sunburned on the beach, had an incredible time. I posted photos of us on Instagram, beautiful sunsets, cocktails, us laughing, clearly having fun. My mom saw them. According to one of my friends, she'd been asking about me through mutual connections, wanting to know how I could be so heartless. December 30th, New Year's Eve. I got a Facebook message from Derrick. I hadn't blocked him there because I rarely used Facebook. Derrick, it's me. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I need to say something. Mom and Dad lost the house last week. They're living with me and Sophia now in our tiny apartment. It's really cramped, and honestly, it's putting serious strain on my marriage already. Sophia didn't sign up for having my parents living with us as newlyweds. Mom and Dad are both severely depressed. They lost everything because of you, man. I get that you're mad at me, at us, at what happened. But taking it out on them like this is beyond ed up. They didn't do anything to you personally. I stared at that message for a long time. They didn't do anything to you personally. The absolute delusion. The complete inability to see their own role in this disaster. I typed out a response, taking my time to make sure I said exactly what needed to be said. Derrick, let me break this down for you clearly, since you seem genuinely confused about cause and effect, actions, and consequences. I paid Mom and Dad's mortgage for 8 years straight, $177,312 total. That's 96 consecutive months where I made sure they had a home without missing a single payment. I never asked for a penny back. I never made them feel bad about needing help. I never lorded it over them. I just did it quietly because they're my parents and I could afford it and I love them. You and Sophia started ing behind my back for 6 months while I was engaged to her, planning our wedding. Mom and Dad knew about it. They caught you. They found out. And they chose not to tell me. They let me keep paying their bills while actively facilitating your affair with my fiancé. When I found out by catching you myself, I stopped paying. Cause and effect. Actions have consequences. They chose to betray me. I chose to stop funding their lives. These are adult consequences for adult choices. You want to know what they didn't do to me? They didn't show me basic loyalty. They didn't give me the respect of honesty. They didn't protect me from my own brother's betrayal. They didn't prioritize their son who'd been taking care of them financially for nearly a decade. They chose you over me. They chose Sophia over me. They chose to let you two be happy at my expense. Instead, they facilitated your affair. They kept your secret. They let me plan a wedding that would never happen. They walked her down the aisle at your wedding after she cheated on me with you. They made their choice. So now they get to live with those choices. They get to live with you, in your cramped apartment with your wife, who apparently already regrets marrying you, dealing with the strain on your marriage. That's called karma, Derrick. That's called consequences. They didn't lose everything because of me. They lost everything because of them. Because of you. Because of Sophia. You all made deliberate choices that destroyed our family. You all thought I'd just take it and keep paying the bills like a good little ATM who doesn't have feelings. You were catastrophically wrong. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel bad. I feel free. Free from a family that never actually valued me beyond what I could provide financially. Free from a brother who betrayed me in the worst possible way. Free from the responsibility of taking care of people who clearly didn't care about me. Enjoy your cramped apartment. Enjoy your parents' depression. Enjoy the strain on your marriage. Enjoy every single consequence of your actions. You earned all of it. And when your marriage falls apart, because it will, marriages built on infidelity and betrayal usually do. Remember this conversation. Remember that you destroyed your family, your brother's trust, and your parents' home for someone who will probably do to you exactly what she did to me. Don't ever contact me again. You're not my brother anymore. They're not my parents. You're all just people I used to know who taught me valuable lessons about trust, loyalty, and when to walk away. Lesson learned. I hit send. Blocked him. Facebook immediately. And honestly, it felt incredible. January brought some interesting news through the grapevine, mostly from Kate and a few other connections back in Puyallup. Apparently, Derrick and Sophia were fighting constantly. The stress of having his parents living with them in that tiny one-bedroom apartment was absolutely destroying their so-called newlywed bliss. Sophia had been making bitter comments to her friends, saying things like, "This isn't what I signed up for," and "I married Derrick, not his entire family." Derrick, meanwhile, was working overtime, picking up every extra shift he could just to try and afford a bigger place. Mom was crying all the time, and Dad had gone completely quiet, barely speaking to anyone. He looked depressed, hollow, and completely broken over losing the house. Then came February, and the house officially sold at foreclosure auction for $285,000, about $70,000 less than market value. Foreclosure sales always go cheap. Some investment company bought it to rent out. 30 years of memories, gone. My parents got nothing. Everything went to pay off the remaining mortgage and the bank fees. Kate even sent me photos from a distance. Mom looked like she'd aged 10 years in 4 months. Gray hair, slumped posture, eyes dull and exhausted. Dad looked completely defeated, carrying boxes like a man who had lost everything. Derrick was there too, hauling things, looking stressed and miserable. And me? I looked at those photos and felt nothing. Maybe that makes me a bad person. But the truth is, they chose this path. They knew exactly who was keeping them afloat financially. They gambled that I'd keep paying no matter what they did. And they lost. March, though, brought the best news I could have hoped for. Sophia filed for divorce from Derrick. 4 months of marriage. Done. Kate, ever the local connection, got me the details. Apparently, Sophia had come to a harsh realization. Derrick couldn't give her the lifestyle she wanted. Living in a cramped apartment with his broke parents, dealing with constant financial stress. The fantasy fell apart fast. The excitement of their little forbidden love story turned to dust the moment real life showed up. She found out that marrying a sporting goods assistant manager with no ambition wasn't exactly a fairy tale ending. Derrick was devastated, or so I heard. He called me from yet another new number, sobbing, begging me to talk to him. I listened to the voicemail once. "Derrick, man, I know you'll probably never forgive me, but you were right about everything. Sophia left me. She's already seeing some lawyer from her firm, some guy who makes, like, $300,000 a year. Mom and Dad won't stop blaming me for losing the house. I lost my brother, my wife, my parents' respect, their home, everything. I underscore up so bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. I can't afford this apartment alone with Mom and Dad here. Everything's falling apart. I'm so sorry." I deleted it without responding. Still felt nothing. Then April rolled around, and I got another message, this time from Sophia herself. Somehow, she found my work email again. "Derrick, I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from, but I need to say this, and you deserve to hear it. You were right about everything. Derrick and I were selfish and horrible. I threw away something real and stable for something that just felt exciting in the moment, but it was nothing. The guilt ate at me every single day of my marriage. I couldn't stop thinking about what we did to you. I couldn't respect Derrick because of how we got together, and I couldn't respect myself. The marriage was doomed from the start because it was built on lies and betrayal. I just wanted you to know I'm truly sorry. Really, genuinely sorry. For what it's worth, I think about you sometimes and wonder what our life would have been like if I hadn't ruined everything. You were good to me, better than I deserved. I hope you find someone who treats you the way you deserve to be treated. You're a good person, Derrick, a better person than all of us combined." I read it carefully, saved it to my evidence folder, just in case I ever needed proof of her admitting fault. But I didn't reply. Her apology didn't mean anything. It was way too late. Now here we are, 6 months after their wedding. My parents are still living with Derrick in that cramped one-bedroom apartment. He sleeps on the couch while they have the bedroom. They're on a waiting list for senior affordable housing, but the wait time is 18 to 24 months minimum. Dad's health has gone downhill fast. The stress and depression took their toll. He had another minor heart issue in March. Mom barely talks to Derrick anymore. The resentment between them is thick. According to people who've seen them, their relationship is completely broken. Derrick works 60-hour weeks now, trying to support everyone on a $45,000 salary. He's got his parents depending on him indefinitely. He's paying child support to Sophia, who turned out to be pregnant when she filed for divorce. And now he's in therapy because he had a complete breakdown in March that led to a short hospital stay. Kate showed me a few recent photos of him. He's gained at least 40 pounds, looks exhausted, older, defeated, a shell of himself. Sophia, on the other hand, is thriving. She's engaged again, this time to that lawyer from her firm. His name's Brandon, and he makes around $300,000 a year, according to his LinkedIn. She looks radiant in her Instagram posts, which, by the way, are still public, and yes, I occasionally check out of pure morbid curiosity. She's visibly pregnant, showing off a new engagement ring that probably costs more than my Tesla. The baby could be Derrick's or Brandon's. Timelines are conveniently unclear. Her latest Instagram caption? "Sometimes the wrong choices lead you to the right place." Sure, Sophia. Keep telling yourself that. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. So if you're hooked on this story, go ahead and smash that hype button. It tells YouTube, this video deserves to blow up.